I'm John Morrison. I'm the Executive Director of the Institute for Human Rights in Business, based in London. Yes, we actually had a piece of work around the London Olympics, before the London Olympics, with the hotel industry in London. Because one of the dangers of the London Olympics was workers coming in, temporary workers, to meet the demand in catering, hotels, etc. Many of them migrant workers, many of them provided by third-party labour providers. And our work over the years, and our work with the European Commission on the role of third-party labour providers made us realise that that was a potential risk for the London Olympics. So we actually did some work there. We gave due diligence guidance to 5,000 hotels in London, every hotel. And at the worst, it was to prevent things like forced labour or even trafficking. And the Metropolitan Police liked it so much that they also distributed our due diligence. So we got a lot of support there. And that made us think, well, why not think about other mega sporting events? Well, don't limit our attention to London, because these mega sporting events are a microcosm of many of the things we work on, whether it's land, water, housing, relocation of communities, security issues, supply chain issues. And so we, through my colleague Lucy Amos, we started to talk with Sean, the chair of the London Sustainability Commission, and to see whether we could provide a bridge to make sure that the learning from London was the things that worked and the things that didn't work was transmitted to other future mega sporting events, and that potentially eventually we could help create a permanent vehicle for learning, so that cities, governments, sponsoring companies, etc. would all have a place to go, a common resource. So that's really, at the end of the day, with mega sporting events, that's what we hope will be achieved in years to come, is that there will be a permanent resource for the sporting bodies when they issue the tenders, but also the cities and countries when they put on these things, and the due diligence guidelines for companies themselves. So that's what brought us to the issue of mega sporting events, yes. So some of the sponsor companies of, say, the IOC, we know quite well. So take a company like Coca-Cola or General Electric, for example. These companies we have strategic relationships with in many parts of the world and on other issues. So what we know is that those companies have a particular interest in human rights due diligence, and they've been very involved at the United Nations levels and elsewhere. So as sponsoring companies for the Olympic movement, they have an interest also in working out how we might progress this together. So as we move forward, we hope to deepen that relationship. It's also the case with the London Olympics. Some of the local sponsors had particular challenges around the Games. So ArcelorMittal, who was one of the local sponsors of the London Games, had a particular set of challenges which were nothing to do with the London Games itself, but to do with a mine in Bosnia that they own, and there are many other examples. So the other thing we have to remember is that these mega sporting events are also lightning rods for a whole range of issues that pre-exist and maybe have nothing directly to do with the mega sporting event, but can surprise the companies. So we have to always think about these things in a much wider context. Yeah. Tokyo 2020, well, congratulations, first of all. It's exciting, and we hope you have as much fun as we did in London in 2012. And our expectation is, it's a bit like, in the race around the track, the relay race. That's why we called our first report Striving for Excellence. We don't think that human rights in any way are a dampening effect or limitation on the Olympics. They're not at all. If you read the Olympic Charter, if you think about the whole spirit of sport, of excellence, but also the dignity and respect of humans to each other, the fairness of sport, the level playing field of sport, these are concepts businesses understand. These are core to good business. And we think human rights in the Olympics is part of the package. It's part, striving for excellence on the field, but also striving for excellence off the field. So we hope Tokyo strives for excellence in its planning for the Olympics, its procurement, its construction, its security, its supply chain, its sponsorship relations, the games itself, the legacy of the games. Do not be afraid of social issues or human rights and sustainability issues. They're part of the package. They're part of the excellence. So learn, our recommendation is that Tokyo learns from the experiences of London 2012, and particularly the Sustainability Commission that was set up to ask these questions, to be critical friends to the London Games. And also, we're working very closely now with colleagues in Brazil for Rio 2016. So let's make sure that we pass the baton and don't drop the baton.